Hi, I'm Jason Sullivan of Rathbone Group, and this is On Subrogation. In this video, we're going to talk about the affirmation of conformity, which is a unique item for New York. If you handle subrogation litigation anywhere in the country, you're probably familiar with an affidavit process. An affidavit is a written sworn statement that's given in lieu of a verbal sworn statement. It's still taken under oath, and in it, it's going to lay out the name of the person who's signing the affidavit, their qualifications, the basis for their testimony, and then what they're testifying to. Then it's going to be signed by the person and notarized by a notary public. That notary public is a verification that the person that said they signed it is who they are, that they signed it, and that they attest to the information that's included in that affidavit. When you file a motion with the court, whether it's for summary judgment or potentially a default judgment, the court will then take that affidavit and treat it as sworn testimony. In that way, you can get a judgment entered without actually having to have a trial date or an in-person testimony. Many courts prefer this, especially in cases where defendants have not appeared. In New York, there's an extra requirement. For an affidavit to be accepted by the court as sworn testimony, if it is signed in New York and notarized by a New York notary, so everything takes place in New York, that's sufficient, and the court will accept that as a valid affidavit. If it is signed outside the state of New York has this extra requirement, an affirmation of conformity. And to explain how this works, you will still have the affidavit just like normal. It's going to lay out the name of the claims rep, their experience with the company, that their statements are being made under oath, and what those statements are. That there was a claim, the amounts that were paid, and then they will sign that. Then, wherever they're signing it, whether it's another state, another country, wherever it is, then that affidavit needs to be notarized by someone with the authority to notarize documents in that location. So, I'm located in Cleveland, Ohio, and I'm an Ohio licensed attorney along with a bunch of other states, but I do have that Ohio license. If a client that is here locally with me needs to sign an affidavit, they would sign the affidavit. They would have it notarized by a notary there. I would be present to watch all this happen. And then now comes in the unique situation for New York in that I will complete an affirmation of conformity. And what that basically says is my name, that I'm a licensed attorney in the state of Ohio, where the prior affidavit was signed, and that I reviewed the process and I can confirm that it was done according to Ohio law. Then I sign that, and it gets notarized again. But that extra affirmation of conformity then allows a New York court to look at that affidavit, and because they don't know what the law is in wherever it's signed, let's say it's Ohio, now they have me, an officer of the state, an attorney licensed to practice law, that says that affidavit was done according to the process and procedure that Ohio law recovers. This can be a little bit frustrating, especially if you don't have a lot of work in New York and you don't have a process set up for this, or you are handling a lot of New York cases, but you're not physically located. Your claims office or your subrogation department is in some state other than New York. So how do you get this done? Well, we do have a solution through our e-notary program. And if you have questions on that, you can email us at enotary@rathbonegroup.com. We have the ability to, through eNotary, which was an award-winning program we came up with to help our clients during the pandemic when everyone was working remotely and didn't necessarily have access to a notary that they would have in the office, or for New York matters, an attorney that could say that the notarization was done according to the law in the state where it was notarized. So we now have the ability to do eNotary according to the state of Ohio, and can also fulfill the affirmation of conformity by having me or another Ohio licensed attorney on the session at the same time. Maybe a service that you'd be interested in, so feel free to reach out to us at either enotary@rathbonegroup.com or info@rathbonegroup.com. Again, it's a matter to make sure that the courts in New York understand that the affidavits and the testimony that's being presented was taken and recorded under the same manner that New York expects, and that the witness who's testifying understands that it's under oath and that it was notarized, and that the person understands the solemnity of that entire situation that they're giving testimony to be used by the court. If you have any questions or if you have a video topic you'd like to see, feel free to email us at video@rathbonegroup.com. For Rathbone Group and On Subrogation, I'm Jason Sullivan, and that's the long and short of it.